Hello, for whoever is out there. I'll be taking questions and hopefully giving answers. I'm going to sit back in my chair and remain calm as I answer your questions. Because most of the time I'm puttering with equipment and things of that nature. I'm going to see if I can just sit right here, nice and calm, and discuss and hopefully provide some insight and value as it pertains to isometrics. I'll just briefly go over an isometric workout I had today with a gentleman. We did a lot of shoulder rotation. We did a lot of hip flexion, abduction, extension. This is what I call around the world isometrics. You take the body and what it does, and you apply resistance against what the body does. So if you're just the center here, your spine is the center, your spine is the world, you just move your limbs around the world and apply resistance against normally your wrists or your forearms or your hands holding onto something. And you take the same approach with your low body. Leg forward, leg to the side, leg back, knee bent, knee straight, knee bent back. So move around, take some time to feel the way that your body moves around your spine. And think about the exercises that you can do where you're putting pressure against the end point of the limb. So, a simple front raise and a pull over. This is a good one that's underrated, is just to put your hands down, pressing down. Okay. Then simply bend at the elbows here and arms up, arms down. Okay. Very simple, right? Adduction, abduction. Again, moving just around the spine, putting restraint at the hand or at the body around the spine, and increasing your range of motion as you do it. But again, you're always just moving around from the center point of the body. And you can do a lot of this seated. Okay, so for example, hip flexion, any hip flexion, you can do seated. Okay, any knee extension or hamstring curl, these are all things that you can do seated. I've been working on the user experience with isometrics. How comfortable can we get the user so that they are focusing on muscle activation and on the experience in general? So I have a stool here in the other room, and again, making 90 degrees in your limbs and pushing and pressing and into an immovable force is as simple as it gets. Now, I've been doing more rotator cuff exercises, and I'll be honest with you, I have slept on isometrics and rotator cuff. Okay. My shoulders have never felt better. So it's so I'm using one arm at a time. Okay, we're getting internal rotation. Meanwhile, I'm bracing myself. I can't tell you how important it is to brace with the other hand. So I'm going inward here and I'm bracing with a post here. And it's really working a lot of the chest too. So the stabilization of this arm and then the internal rotation. Okay. Now just the opposite, external rotation going this way. Okay. So likely you'd want to hold on to something here and we're going out this way. Okay. So doing that on both sides, internal and external rotation, 90 degrees at the knees, I'm so used to saying 90 degrees at the knees. I said it here to you, 90 degrees at the elbows. Okay. Now, if we can get our elbows up high, parallel to the ground, now we're going to drive our hands up okay? And this takes some time and some skill to get yourself into the right position, especially with rotation here at the shoulder. People struggle to get that feel. Okay, so we're going up here. So you do one arm at a time, again, bracing yourself. So this is what's great here is you're getting isometric brace on the other side. The resistance is here in the hand, but you're also pressing or pulling on the other side. So again, 2 for 1 with our isometrics and everything that we do. And it's important to be stable through the body. We want to activate as much muscle fiber as possible. We want our whole body to be isometrically contracted in each separate position we do. For example, if you are seated, it's important you're pressing your feet into the ground no matter what you're doing. You're pulling your shoulders back. I try to say big chest, pulling your shoulders back and driving your feet into the ground. So no matter what we're doing here, my glutes are activated, okay, and the muscles that run along my spine are contracted and upright, and I'm having good posture. So if you want to add anything or add any questions or concerns, once again, I'm just trying to sit in this chair and answer questions with my words rather than sometimes I'm putting myself through a whole workout just to explain one item. Maybe I can just sit here before y'all and provide information the best I can with the marble mouth that I have. Once again, I have, let's see, tomorrow's roster lineup. Couple golfers, couple bikers, all above 50 years old. And once again, I'm going to do flexion, extension, abduction, adduction, internal rotation, external rotation, trunk flexion, trunk extension, elbow flexion, elbow extension. The workout's over after that. What else do you need? And then if you want to increase the intensity, you do the compound exercises like your deadlift, your shoulder press, your row. But isolating in isometrics is so extremely powerful. And this is the progression I'm going on here is my introduction to measured isometrics has been of compound exercises. Once again, your deadlift, your squat, your split squat, your row, okay? Slowly over time, this is all measured isometrics. Slowly over time, I've introduced myself to single joint movements, measuring single joint movements. Why not? If it's so simple to set up the tin deck, why not get it measurable? Why not get the phone in front of you and start to get data in front of you with ease using the technology that we have before us? Why don't we discuss just a little bit about me and my business and you? I feel like I have created a method over time that's easy to teach and it is practical and flexible in everyone's life and is one that is of isometrics and is one that goes from athletes to adults. I try and narrow it down to my niche audience, but it appears my audience has found me. It is 50 plus men, adult males. However, that's great. That's a great clientele to serve. And I'm so looking forward to continuing that process with that demographic. Athletes can benefit so much from isometrics, and that is it applies so very well to athletics and performance. And then to women, the abs and the glutes and the hips that you can get from isometrics is uh, Incomparable, is that a word? Incomparable? So though my demographic is in one area, the benefits of isometrics apply across the board. In any sport, I couldn't imagine a sport that it didn't work in. I always say a stance in your sport is an isometric contraction. Isn't that interesting? Many sports start with a stance, right or wrong? Hmm. Change of direction of any sort, that sudden pause before the change of direction, that zeroing out of velocity is an isometric contraction. If you have a grandfather or grandmother and they're walking down the street and they live somewhere where it's cold out and there happens to be ice there, and all of a sudden their foot slips out from underneath them, it catches the concrete for one split second, a potential there's a potential of an isometric contraction. If that potential is not sought out, if it is not realized, the leg goes back too far and the slip happens and the grandmother or grandfather falls. God bless, hopefully not. I'm just saying how this isometrics applies across the board. In real life, in scenarios in real life, this plays out in real time. As I sit before you, I'm trying to stay relaxed here, but as I sit before you, I'm in an isometric contraction. Okay, right? Or I'm not. Or I'm not. What is a posture of preparedness? Okay, is it this? Or is it this? Where now I feel like my abs are contracted. I'm driving my feet into the ground. I got my hip flexors going. I can even, a huge difference in preparedness. If I had to change direction, if I had to stand up, I'm here already. Okay. Here I'm relaxed. There's no isometric contraction. I'm just kind of loafing here. And, I'm not going to be the one to tell you not to loaf because sometimes I'm loafing like this and this is fine. But if I had to change direction for that potential fall on the ice or that change of direction in athletics, I want to be prepared first and then be able to move. And this is how simple isometrics can get. I'm wondering what the end user is curious about. Why are you listening into this so far, this 12-minute and 52-second? What is the YouTube world looking for with isometrics? It's interesting. Is it the equipment? Is it equipment technical issues? Is it programming? Is it how trying to figure out how to work this into your life? Are you Have you been doing it your whole life and you're just looking for other people like-minded? Or are you ready to dabble, but you're not? You're someone who wants to get as much information as possible before implementing the new protocol. Hmm. Curious. Interesting. Hmm. I have a couple things that I might as well talk about right now as we proceed into our 14th minute. There's a couple rebranding opportunities here for my web channel, and I want to get the feedback of the people, my YouTube channel. I'll give you some ideas. One is currently Scampo Training, which is me. However, I want to get something that can be brand recognizable. And a couple of those is the ISO Lab. Another one is Method G, which I've used before. Method G is the accumulation of knowledge and experience I've gotten over the last 8 years. And let's see, there was another one if I can remember here. I had a client call me the silent assassin, and I just thought that had a ring to it. And I'm not sure that I'm not gonna name my business the silent assassin. I'm not gonna do that, but working that in because isometrics is silent. In fact, I'd argue that isometrics is the most silent form of training ever, other than meditation. Hmm. It's a silent assassin. And he said that because it sneaks up on you. You do a couple holds, a couple overcoming isometric position, a couple measured isometrics, and before you know it, you are prepared. And it happens quick. So give me some feedback on the ISO lab, method G. Just where should the channel go? I'm not trying to go in any sort of direction. I like the direction that we're currently in. I love the direction we're in. I love the direction that we're headed. Should we have a business meeting here? I love the direction that our channel is headed to. Can we expand? Yes, but it's about the quality of interactions that we have, the quality of information. Is a high volume of information worth it if the information is invalid? I prefer to be dosed little nuggets of extremely valuable information. That's what I hope to provide to you all. So, to round this out, good evening, Lewis. Can I answer any questions for you this evening? Is there anything that you want to add? Otherwise, I will continue on with my rant. Continue to work around the axis of rotation, that is the rotator cuff. When in doubt, get the elbows to 90, down and up. Very simple stuff here. Hip flexion, hip extension, hip abduction, hip adduction, knee flexion and extension. And there you have one of the most elite exercise protocols that you can possibly find, man. Are you still using the tin deck? Oh, absolutely. I used it today, actually. I was just speaking about how I was using it for rotator cuff exercises for some clients that have some rotator cuff or elbow pain. Single joint, single arm measured isometrics. That's how far deep into the weeds I've gotten, Lewis, with this. Single leg flexion, measured isometrics, data. Do I have my phone on me? It's been an interesting ride. See, just here. It's just all single arm stuff. And I just been taking screenshots of each client, seeing if there's any major discrepancies. There I am. That's a 100-pound that's a 100-pound dumbbell in each hand. And I'm going to put together a couple other things. I also did I'm not saying I'm the strongest individual in the world, but considering the time and effort I put towards it, let me see if I can get out of the screen. Here's a 225 squat I did the other day. I mean, it's not, again, I'm not really trying to be a world beater, but I'm looking for stability and control. There we go. So not bad, I just felt really good and fluid. Again, isometrics makes you move so smoothly. It's interesting. And then a 225 bench press. 225 bench press, again, not, just a solid baseline of strength for never lifting. I haven't bench pressed in maybe 2 years, and I tried 225, and I've done 225 plenty in the past. But, just a smooth transition and stability. And that's it for me, that's it. That's all I'm looking for. It doesn't have to be crazy. Then for fun, and I just want to say that I'm an isometrics guy. I'm not trying to say that I do this often. I'm just doing this as a test, a random test. This is a 135 shoulder press. 135. I think I only did one or two. Did I do one more? Yeah, I did one more. So 135 overhead press. It's the measured isometrics, Lewis. I'm telling you, man. It's the tin deck. I'm serious. The ISO fit in the tin deck. Like my clients too, they're getting super strong. How would you use tin deck to improve pull-ups? Ooh. Okay, so interesting. That's a great question. Any pulling down with any isometrics is probably the hardest challenge. Okay. So you can do body weight isometric holds on the pull up. Okay. So if you're here, you're just doing 90-degree holds. Okay. You can do your negatives, negative only for 10 seconds, or you have to anchor the tin deck to a strength machine. So what I do on the pullover machine that we use in the gym, I just have a rope that anchors to the tin deck, and I do a pull down with that with clients. So that I'm banking on the strength of the strength machine. Now, if you're at home, you have to anchor it. Okay, we have to discuss this. Okay, you're not fixed. You're not anchored in. So if you do a pull down, an isometric pull down, you have it anchored up top, you have the tin deck here, and you have your hands here, and you're doing a pull down, you're going to slowly lift up. So you're not going to have that base. Okay, we need to make sure we have a base. So you got to strap yourself in somehow. That's why the pullover again is a great machine to do it on, because the old Nautilus came with a seat belt. So you're belted in, you're pulling down. Okay. Find a way to be anchored in, get your elbows to 90 degrees and do a pull down with a tin deck anchored overhead. Now, if you can't get any sort of overhead measurement, we're on to a different conversation. Now, any deadlift with a tin deck is going to improve your pull up. Okay, just the tin deck in general will improve the pull up. But if you want a direct pull up, whether you're doing chin up or pull up, you got to have the tin deck overhead pulling down. Okay. Or you're just going to get into a pull up position at 90 degrees and flex your muscles for 30 seconds. There. I'm going to test my pull ups next. How many pull ups can you do, Lewis? If you're talking about body weight pull ups. Around 15. That's great. That's great. Good for you. Absolutely. So yeah, you're ready for some isometrics, dude. Okay, so you're ready for get your elbows to 90 degrees. Okay, how can I explain this? Get your elbows to 90 degrees, and you have to grab onto something or like put your feet underneath a belt or a strap, and you need to pull up on the strap as you're holding it 90 degrees. So like a strap around your toes, pull up onto the strap. You're ready for those. Now, if you do 15 pull-ups, you're ready for overcoming isometrics pull-ups, which is sick. I'm not sure if you have a six pack, but if you're doing isometrics, yeah, do that. If you're doing isometrics, and you can do 15 pull-ups, we should be looking at a six pack here. That's another thing with isometrics that people don't understand is you can get a six pack. Nothing gives you a six pack except dieting, but isometrics can get you a six pack. Okay, 25 minutes in. This has been pretty good. I haven't gotten up off my seat, which is incredible if we're being honest. I wanted to go and grab the tin deck. I wanted to start doing exercises, but I'm too wound up sometimes. So I have to kind of just sit here and just relax, okay, and answer questions and use my brain and my words to answer questions. And I feel like I've done that tonight. Now, I'm going to make a compilation of dynamic testing that I've done. Dynamic testing that I've done. So the box jump, the squat, the chest press, the bench press, the overhead press. I have to do a chin up test and maybe something else. What's another power? Maybe like a hex bar deadlift, but I don't want to hurt myself. Like, or even after doing the squat, the 225 squat for 4 or 5 reps, there's just too much um, opportunity for injury happening. So, I don't get that feel after isometrics. I feel like powerful. So, okay, I don't want. What I'm just trying to say is, I'm trying to do some more testing with strength equipment, doing dynamic exercise without hurting myself. Really strong. Make a pull of videos for your followers. Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can get that done. I gotta get that done. Lewis, great talking with you, man. I hope. Yeah, send me a DM. We'll go from there. And otherwise, everybody have a great night. Everything under isometrics. Give me some feedback on what you know, what you have learned, and what you're willing to learn. Until then, thanks for all the knowledge, mister. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Over and out.